Welcome to Ancient Sayings. I'm Dr. Eric Harvey. Today we have Sumerian Proverb 3.134. One's personal god is a shepherd who finds pasturage for him. Let the god lead him like sheep to the food they can eat. In a couple of previous videos that I'll link in the description below, I've talked about the importance of the personal god in Mesopotamian religion. There were, of course, in the pantheon, the high gods who were known by name, and then the lower gods who were also known by name, even though they weren't quite as powerful. But there was also a whole host of other lesser gods who were associated with families and individuals and didn't necessarily have names beyond the gods of my family or my personal god. These gods were bound to these families and individuals, and they were responsible one for the other, as we'll see. So this week and next week, I'm going to focus on Proverbs about the personal God. This week, we're going to look at Proverbs about harmonious relationships between people and their personal gods. And next week, we're going to look at situations where things go wrong. I think this proverb is fascinating because it is an early example of a motif that is more commonly associated with the Hebrew Bible. Think, for example, of Psalm 23, where it says, the Lord is my shepherd, and the rest of that psalm. But this is an example of that same motif over a millennium before Psalm 23 was written, showing that this is an idea about gods that goes way back in ancient Middle Eastern history. And it brings this concept of leadership and provision, but there's a really interesting element, I think, to this psalm that might, or this proverb, that might escape notice at first, which is that switch from the singular pronoun to the plural pronoun at the end, that one's personal god is a shepherd who finds pasturage for him. Let the god lead him, like sheep, to the food they can eat. In Mesopotamia, the gods, even the familial and personal gods, ate and drank like people do. And so it was the responsibility of people and families to care for their gods with food and drink in the same way that the great temples of Mesopotamia were constructed to care for the feeding and housing of the greater deities. So this is a very reciprocal relationship, even though clearly the deity here is being put in the hierarchical superior role of the leader and the provider of the human who is compared to a sheep. Let me know your thoughts on this proverb in the comments. Please subscribe to the Parchment and Clay channel, like this video, and tune in the future for more daily doses of ancient common sense. Bye!